Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with Bruce from Karen Berger Cigars.
Hello, love.
It's time for a brand attack. You're watching Cigars Daily. Hey, get more out of this and all our videos when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus and now also on Rumble. Check us out there to get even more content out of each video. Today, I am sitting down with not Karen Berger. That is what I've noticed. You're not nearly as good looking as Karen Berger, and I'm pretty sure you're a dude.
No, I am Karen Berger. I come from Esteli, Nicaragua.
That's not a bad impression.
No, dude. You should hear the impression I have of Tim Swanson.
I want to hear, do the intro of this show for me.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? My name's Tim, and you are watching the best damn content on the internet. It's time to get weird with some cigars. You're watching Cigars Daily.
Is weird with cigars? Is that my key core?
No,
of my brain?
that was me. That I put that in there, man.
I like it.
That was a little paprika on top, man.
It's interesting. There's a lot of these Latin American cigar makers. You have to do the accent, and you have to talk and you have the mannerisms. Right. But with me, if you're just loud, it's like any American traveling to any European country
and direct.
Yeah, speak slowly and loudly, and they'll understand what you're saying.
You're the ugly American in Europe.
I got to tell you, I've traveled all over the world. I typify the American as much as the stereotype can be. Right. I'm the guy.
Right.
Okay, but I want to talk about Karen Berger, and today here's what we're going to do: a brand attack on Karen Berger Cigars. Now, Bruce is a guy who knows because he's the vice president of Karen Berger Cigars. So here's how this works.
Okay.
I'm going to play the discerning aficionado.
Got it.
I've got some concerns about Karen Berger. I'm going to launch some questions at you, and you're going to defend the brand as best as you can against my pinkies up, hoity-toity, conservative cigar questions.
I smell you.
Feel good?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. I've heard of these Karen Berger cigars. People talk about them online. I see people posted them in their news feeds and stuff like that. But who the hell is Karen Berger? I mean, I know a lot of cigar blenders. They're all dudes.
Yeah.
So now we got a woman cigar blender. What's going on here? Who the hell is Karen Berger? Where did she come from?
A little bit of history. The Berger family were actually Jews that escaped the Holocaust after World War II, and they wound up in Cuba, actually, believe it or not, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Don Kiki, Don means sir in Spanish, right? So Don Kiki actually means Sir Henry. So Kiki Berger, Henry Berger, was the descendant of the family that moved to Cuba from Germany, escaping the Holocaust. When they wound up in Cuba, of course, in 1959, frying pan into the fryer, the Communist Revolution happens. They exiled to Mexico, Florida, then ultimately to Nicaragua.
Oh, wow. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here to educate you, man. So, after they got to Nicaragua, he bought a parcel of land for peanuts, kind of like what Nick Perdomo did. And, the land didn't have much value back then, It actually turned out to be 61 acres, right? So it's 61 acres of land that's in between, like I told you before, AJ Oliva and Placencia. So he started a farm and he started a factory.
Peanuts.
Yeah. Well, that's figurative, you know what I'm saying, bro? But it was a few bucks. It was a few shekels here and there.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he got this land, and a girl named Karen Perez, who's a local Nicaraguan. She's actually from Esteli. When you go there, you can go by the house she grew up in. She's like, that's just my house I grew up in right there. Little tiny shack on a street in a iffy part of town, right? And she went from that to where she is today. But she went in looking for a job. She got jobs at Roller. And as you guys know, Karen is absolutely beautiful, right? So Kiki looked down, fell in love with her. She fell in love with him, and whoop, married, and Cinderella her way to the top.
It's a Hallmark movie of the holidays. It's the
on steroids.
The tobacco factory owner standing in his second floor room looking down on the workers is like, she's beautiful.
Right.
Goes down there and starts. Did he speak? He speaks Spanish.
Yes,
obviously.
Of course.
He moved to Cuba. Yeah. What a fascinating story.
Right. I know.
Now, at some point during this, listen, I'm not impressed yet. I'm still in brand attack mode.
I'm impressed with him though.
Don't let this fool you. At some point, Kiki passed away. Mm-hmm. How long ago was this exactly?
This was 2014.
2004, so about 10 years ago.
So Kiki had illnesses throughout his life, and he actually had kidney failure. So whenever Karen and Kiki went on the road, like let's say they were leaving Florida and they were coming to Phoenix, Arizona to do an event, Karen would have to be the forward scout and find the dialysis center and come here and get him hooked up before he'd go to the cigar lounge and do an event.
So he was running and banging and slanging cigars, but all the time going and getting hooked up on dialysis and maintaining these serious conditions.
Yeah. So Karen was the forward Scott. She would fly in like 2 days early and lay it all out and all that. So actually, Karen, because he was on a donor list and couldn't get a kidney, right? So Karen was like, check my body out, and she was a perfect match. So this Nicaraguan girl and this like Cuban originally from Central Europe, they were a perfect match, and she donated one of her kidneys to him. So she has one kidney right now and a scar right there for her loved one that she donated a kidney to.
Okay, so Kiki passes away in 2014.
Yes, that's correct.
And Karen is now the de facto head from citizen of Esteli to cigar roller to wife to CEO president of what is now called Karen Berger Cigars.
That is correct, senor.
So this is like, this fascinates me. I didn't know any of this about Karen Berger or Kiki or anything.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's out there. Probably some of my viewers already knew a lot of this, especially if they've met Karen before or heard her story. That's amazing. Like, you hear a lot of amazing stories about how people get into cigars. If you watch this video on Cigars Daily Plus or on Rumble, you'll get to hear a little bit more about how Bruce got into the company. But at the same time, that is a world different. A lot of people happen into cigars.
Right.
That is a like happening, multiple types of happenings that landed Karen as the prominent figure in a mid-sized brand. Now, here's back to Pinkies Up. I'm a concerned aficionado.
Go ahead.
Got concerns about this.
Okay.
And it's an enchanting story. So I'm going to tell this with my typical I'm a douchebag tone. But just so you know, this is kind of a hard way to put it. So I get it. Karen has some history in cigars. Esteli, I don't know if that's what they call them, to cigar roller, to married to a brand owner, to a brand owner. It's very romantic. But what the hell makes Karen Berger so qualified to blend premium cigars? Like, a lot of my favorite cigar brands, okay, they've got 5th generation cigar makers. It's a guy whose great-grandfather's grandfather started out in the soil of Esteli. He was born into a tobacco field and yada. My favorite cigar makers are born into this. So what makes her so qualified to roll such premium blends?
I would take that question. I would throw it right back on you, okay? Because Karen is from Esteli, Nicaragua. I challenge everyone to go to Esteli, Nicaragua right now and find a cigar maker that's from Esteli, Nicaragua.
Pause this,
Yeah.
Go to Nicaragua, and then come back and drop a comment. That's what Bruce is asking you to do, and I'm with him. Pause this video, get up, go to Nicaragua right now.
Yeah, get your passport up.
But you make a good point. Where is the average cigar maker from in Nicaragua?
They're all Cubans.
Yeah, they're all Cubans.
Pedro from Drew Estates is a local also.
Pedro's a local. There's like one or two other guys.
The rest are
Enrique Sanchez from 1502. He's Nicaraguan.
Okay,
but there's not. You're right. There's not a lot.
And then if you want to reduce down, she's the only female Nicaraguan, the only one.
She's like almost the only female in the cigar industry.
In the biz, right? Totally. But beyond that, I mean, Karen, she has done every single part of the process, right? I mean, the people that were born into it, like my grandfather, all that jazz that you hear in Miami like every single day, right? That is someone who didn't work their way up. That's someone who was born into it. This is someone who really did not have the future that those guys had and was just rolling cigars for the daily sustenance and going to the fields and learning how to harvest tobacco and learning how to devein and decipher the color and all that kind of stuff, which is something a lot of other people had not learned, right? She had to learn it, not because someone was like, you need to learn the family business, come through this and do this. No, she had to learn it for survival. So she is the OG. She is the genuine article when it comes to tobacco.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Karen Berger who had to earn it. So that's a fair and fascinating thing. I think that a high value in a lot of brands is that people have worked their way up. Mm-hmm. Then, obviously, as most people do, marry the owner of the brand and eventually inherit it. I think that's a good, that works. The big thing, though, is she's done each part of the process. She's rolled the cigar. She's been involved with the blending of the cigars, involved with the brand. And I think one thing that speaks to it is the general, like, how well received Karen Berger cigars are.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from the core line K by Karen Berger series. There's a Connecticut, there's a Cameroon, there's a Maduro, there's even a Habano in there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different blends that Karen Berger stamped her name on, including the AJ Fernandez 25th anniversary,
which is a very dope cigar. I do love that.
But my final question, as a carefully choosing aficionado, is the guy who's my cigar dollars need to go the right direction because I need that experience to be just choice.
Right.
why in the hell should I pick out a Karen Berger cigar off the shelf in a brick and mortar lounge versus picking out something that I already know and trust? My Padrones and my Fuentes of the world. What makes a Karen Berger something that I should put dollars into?
Well, it's funny you mentioned those two names because Orlando Padrone, God rest his soul, he's the one that donned Karen with the nickname, the moniker, if you will, Queen of Cigars, right? So she box presses her cigars as a tribute to Orlando Padrone. That's why her cigars are box pressed. And our soil that we have, our farm, is right in between AJ, Oliva, and over the mountain behind us is Placencia. So we are triangulated with the best tobacco soil on earth. You go there, it is black soil. It is beautiful. You want to take it, you just want to rub it on your skin and get weird with it. It's fantastic. Right?
It's like it sounds to me like the analogy is like if you could get a piece of prime real estate, if you could buy a house,
right,
that it literally is in between, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
You've got those, and you're like, my house is right in the middle. Your property value would be through the roof,
right?
And certainly
for
as far as growing goes, those three names have powerful
a lot of clout,
heritage,
a lot of clout, no doubt about it. But also, okay, so that begs the question: why wouldn't I just go with an Oliva or an AJ or a Placencia? Well, Karen brings something else that's very special to the table. She puts a woman's touch on these cigars. What am I saying? What I'm saying is this: when she blends, she puts a high premium on balance that a lot of dudes don't do. And some of the people I just mentioned are my favorite cigar makers in the world. I know AJ is fantastic. I know Nestor Placencia, great people, and they make tremendous cigars. But the one thing that she does differently is the balance has to be there. You're never going to get all body and no flavor. You're never going to get flavor with wimpy body. You're always going to get this tremendous balance, and it's because of her passion that she puts into the cigars. I've watched her throw so many things back at the drawing board before that I thought were okay. She's like, no, we no sell that. No, we no sell that. So by the time it gets in your hands, from the best soil on earth, from the best region on earth, to the person that's the OG, cigar maker that started from the factory, from rolling, from deveining, from harvesting, to her wisdom as a woman being in the business for 28 years, you're getting all that in a Karen Berger cigar.
That's a tough pitch to argue with, man. I'll tell you, when you say that, she puts the woman's touch on it, that makes me smile, because when I think about like doing things around my home with me versus my wife, my wife around our home makes our house feel like a home.
Right, sure.
I lack that ability. Like when I lived on my own, my place had a couch, a TV on the floor, and like a folding chair, and I just sat in front of that. I'm like, this is enough.
Right.
And my wife is like filled our house with things that make it really homey and feel comfortable. Sure. And that is a great point with blending. I mean, to take the nurturing thing that a lot of women are incredibly good at and put that into a cigar blend, I think probably speaks volumes to the reason that Karen Berger is so well received by people. All of you watching this, here's what I can tell you about Karen Berger. I didn't know anything about it. Clearly, I'm learning things about Karen Berger in this video right now. What I do know is that the way that aficionados react to Karen Berger cigars is typically with like, oh wow, this is a cigar that carries a lot of, again, that nurturing balance, complexity of flavor, some really powerful stuff. And so here we're sitting with a couple Karen Berger cigars. We're going to keep talking about this, and you can get more out of this video when you go to the community on Cigars Daily Plus, and now as well to Rumble. I invite you to. And if you are familiar with Karen Berger, if you've had the experience of Karen Berger cigars, drop a comment down below and let people know what you think of them, because we're curious to hear from you guys too. I haven't heard anyone have anything bad to say about Karen Berger before, but I want to thank you for hanging out with me here today, brother.
Of course, Tim. It's been an absolute pleasure. Where else would I be? I'm in Arizona. You got to hook up with Tim and hang out, man.
That's what's up. And I'm going to tell you, I'd have Karen Berger on, but we had to talk about this. I have to have him on before I can have Karen on. And this is not abnormal.
No.
For Cigar Brains kind of want to feel you out. They want to get to know you.
I'm the buffer zone.
He's the buffer. He keeps Karen safe from weird, uncomfortable, inappropriate people. And I get that. That's appropriate. I think that's a good thing. Somebody's got to look out for her best interest.
You got to. I'm the forward scout, baby.
Well, guys, do check this video out on the other platforms. Thanks for joining us here, and hopefully look forward to having Karen Berger on the channel at some point. This is Tim and Bruce. We're both signing off for Cigars Daily, and we'll see you in the comments.